Greetings, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. Many apologies about the delay in posting a new video. I've gotten a lot of stuff over the past at least maybe month or two. Mostly a lot of new stuff, but I had to put a delay on it for a little while because I just got back from vacation. And we went to San Diego, beautiful San Diego, and it was a great trip. Great trip indeed. A beautiful city, so much to see, beautiful weather. Great food, everything. It was a wonderful trip. Had a great time, and one of the first things, and I also recommend that city too. If anybody's looking to go on vacation, San Diego definitely is a destination. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Um, One of the first stops we made out there was one of the comic stores, and it's a nice little local place called Kamikaze. Um, it's a nice store. It's a nice store, one-story building, lots of merchandise, just lots of stuff you're looking for. Anything you can possibly find in there, you probably have a good chance of finding it. Lots of paperbacks, hardcovers, collected editions, slipcases, lots of manga books, which was pretty impressive. You don't see too many of those in the comic stores anymore these days. Um, lots of new books and a lot of back issues. The only downside was that the floor space was really limited because of all the other displays, all the other toys and action figures and pops and things like that. It really limited the foot space that you had to walk around. It's a nice store. The owner's really nice. He's pretty attentive. Um, any questions you have looking for about anything, or you're looking for anything, just let him know. He'll do everything he can to find that for you if he's got it. And but the floor space, yeah, there's a lot of boxes, a lot of merchandise sitting around on the floor. And if there was something in particular you were trying to get, you either had to move it yourself or get him to move it without damaging it. And that was the only downside to it. But other than that, the store was really nice, was really clean. Um, Very good selection of merchandise, and that would be a recommended spot from me to the community. See what you guys think about it. If you're ever out in San Diego, Kamikaze, look them up. Look them up on GPS or Google them, and you'll find them. It'll lead you to it. Got some pretty good stuff over the past couple weeks, past few months, and we'll get into it right now with one of the books that I was looking for out here, but it sold out relatively quick, surprisingly. But I haven't been to my other store in Downers Grove yet. Haven't been out there in a couple weeks. Got to drop in on them. First book up was Harleen. I was really happy to get this one. My girlfriend spotted it out first, so she gets the credit for that. But I was really looking for that one for the longest. They had the alternate cover too, but I always liked the first cover of the broken mask and the image of Harleen Quinzel behind it. So exit Harleen and enter Harley. So I think that's going to be a good read. Let's flip through it, and I really like the art, and the story was really getting my attention too. A Necessary Evil. This is the foil cover to the Power Rangers series, and the next foil cover I found out there. And that's the blue cover. That's the Blue Ranger cover, actually. So now this puts me at 4, I believe. So I mean, there's just 2 more left to get. And all of these were random. They were all off the shelves. So there wasn't any pawing through any back issue boxes or anything, which he didn't have anyway. He didn't have any of those, which I am, and I'm not really surprised by that. But it's always nice to be able to paw through the racks, the new issue and back issue shelves, and to see what is out there that people just didn't want. They slept on, they left, whatever, and that just that opens the door for you to find them. So that's always good. It's always good when people skip on those titles, so they sleep on certain titles, and you can find the gems like that. One of the books I looked for out in Chicago that they did not have, that I didn't see anywhere, Ghost Rider #1, and this is the Flaming Chain cover, wraparound cover actually. And this was the one that I was looking for the first time out here by where I live. And the guy that owns the store up the street from me, he didn't have it. and I think he only got one cover, and that was based on or one issue of that, and that was an order. That was on somebody's pull list, and that was the only one. Not the only one, but they did have a few of those. Maybe two more after that. They didn't have any out in Chicago. Um, the Fantastic Four Jack Kirby color version of the sketch cover from the most recent series. There we go. Get off the glare. And yes, true to form, because of the glare, you can't really see Invisible Girl, but she is there. There she goes. And this one took me completely by surprise. Not really expecting to find that one at all. Pawing through Fantastic Four, see what they got, see if I can catch up, and uh, they was sitting there, the color version. Now that's one of my favorite covers off the new series. I really like that one. And picked up Spawn 301. This is the Jeff Scott Campbell cover of 301, and this one is just an incredible cover. Really love the imaging on this, the color, everything. It's an awesome cover. This is the cover with the number. That's an awesome cover, just an awesome cover. And I've managed to find the Virgin version of 301. So yeah, those were all highlights, really. Those were probably the best ones that I was able to find out there, and that was within the San Diego area. So yeah, I saw them and I thought to myself, damn, what does California not have in terms of comics and things? So I was able to find those. So that was pretty nice haul for the first day in San Diego. And then then the second day we took the 2-hour ride from San Diego into LA, and that was quite a sight in terms of the scenery, just marvelous scenery, all the houses in the hills and things like that, and it was an incredible trip. And stopped in at the world famous Golden Apple. Golden Apple, to me, was a disappointment, because every picture that I had seen of Golden Apple, it always seemed like it was a bigger store, almost like a mini warehouse. But I get there, and it sounds like it's gonna be, this borderline mecca of comics and entertainment and things like that, in the right in the heart of the city. And when we get there, there was a pretty cool Spider-Man statue out front, signed by Frank Cho, Joe Quesada, I think John Romita, and if not, it was a couple of other artists that signed the very bottom of it. And it's a really nice size, lifelike statue of Spider-Man right outside the door, because it's their 40th anniversary. So you go inside, and it's actually a relatively smaller store. It's not that big at all. It's a smaller store, not very much to the imagination. It's almost like a typical store. There's nothing really that stands out about it. And as far as I'm concerned, what I think more in terms of Golden Apple, I look at it more as, it's more of a Hollywood store. It's not really one of those places that you feel like you're at home, or it almost doesn't feel like it's solely rooted in the community, like the mom and pop stores or the independent stores, which always, and even some of the chain stores, which make you feel like you're at home there, or like you're welcome there, and things. And not that we didn't feel like we weren't welcome, it just didn't have that homey feeling, that nice comforting feeling that you walk into a store, the guys know you, or people know you can strike up conversation with people and that kind of stuff. It didn't have that feel to it, and that was a disappointment to me. But overall, to me, it's more of a Hollywood store, because it's not that far from Hollywood. It's right almost in the heart of LA, And you go inside, you look around, slightly limited walking space, a lot of memorabilia, a lot of posters and signed things. Some pretty cool pops signed by Robert Downey Jr. And I believe Stan Lee or Tom Holland signed one of the Spider-Man pops behind the counter. I'm not sure, but it was those were interesting to see, and of course those certainly were not for sale. Um, and the guy that owned the place, he gets his new merchandise that comes in. The people come in, he greets him and everything, but you just didn't have that. Uh, you just didn't have that personable feeling from the people that worked there, which was surprising to me. And lots of new merchandise. Of course, all the back issue boxes. You wrap around, you see the newer stuff, the shirts and the older books behind the counter, um, behind the separate counter actually, because there's a separate counter for the older stuff, for the books from the Bronze Age, some Silver Age, but a lot of the books from the 70s and the 80s, the typical higher price stuff you're gonna expect to find out there. And you wrap around, you see the stuff behind the main counter, the other memorabilia, the posters, the pops, and things like that, some of the signed stuff, and um, and then you got the dollar boxes off of the other end of that main counter. And yeah, that's typical fare that you'd expect to find in a 50-cent dollar box. It's a pretty good selection though overall if you're looking for a particular title, which I'm glad I did, because I did find quite a few of the title that I'm looking to finish. And there was a lot of Ex Machina in there, which I'm really into. I'm really liking that book. And even though it's an older title, which I should have jumped on sooner when it first came out, I'm glad I'm able to start catching up with it now. And got a pretty good little stack of Ex Machina, and that was a pretty nice extra bonus. So far, we've got number 39, um, number 37, get that off of there. Number 38, which is a really cool cover. Love the art in Ex Machina too. Tony Harris, he did Starman early on for Wildstorm, or DC, not Wildstorm. He did those for DC, and really like Tony Harris's art. And Brian K. Vaughan, of course, did the writing, and everybody knows his work from Y. But I personally like Ex Machina better. This title just really jumped at me. It's just the elements of that title of that book is just so much cooler to me. Number 21, and number 35, number 49, number 48, number 47, um, number 43, which is a really, really cool cover too. Really liking that one. 44, number 45, and where is it here? And number 50, final issue. So now we've got some of the beginning, and now we've got the ending. The end numbers blocked off. So when it comes time to end it, I got end to end. So we just fill in the middle. Was able to find Action Comics 829. That's a pretty cool cover there with Dark Side. My girlfriend found that one, so she gets credit for that one too. She liked that. She liked that cover in particular, anyway. Um, Queen and Country #9. One of the last few I needed to finish that. Finish that title. That's one of my favorite titles of all time. Nice espionage book. Um, Sandman Mystery Theater number. What number is this? Number 54. Another really good title from Vertigo, back when it was Vertigo. Uh, definitely a title to read. I really like that one. That's a good one. Love those old 40s noir books. Witchblade #5. There's a great cover on that one. Supergirl #5. This is the second printing. Second printings are really good to have after all. I used to not think so when I was a kid, but I'm glad I came around and saw the light on that one. And White Widow #1. White Widow #1. Got a pair of them. Had a couple of these and all of these were out of the dollar boxes. Surprisingly, they were in there. There was a decent stack of them, decent amount of them within each box. It was at least maybe 1 or 2 per box after seeing maybe 5 or 6 boxes worth of dollar books, and there was a pretty good amount of those in there. Surprisingly, those over, and last but not least, I should say, a few nice little pops over the past at least month or so leading up to the trip. And one of the first ones was my all-time favorite wrestler. I grew up with him, and just my all-time favorite wrestler. Found Bret Hitman Hart. Didn't even know he had one, and I was stoked to find him. Just stoked to find him. So glad I was able to get him. And I got him actually before we left, a couple weeks before we left for San Diego. 80th Marvel's 80th anniversary. Submariner. I got little Submariner, looking as pissed off as he usually does with his tripod in a threatening manner. Don't piss him off because he's from Atlantis, so he protects Atlantis no matter what. And finally, we stopped into a Target out there, and much to my surprise, well, not even to my surprise, for every day leading up to the vacation, to the trip, we resisted. We actually had the willpower to resist the pops, but then we get to San Diego, and on our last day there, we decided to stop in at Target because we had some time to kill before we hit the airport. So we stopped in, and I think we were secretly both trying to see what was there in the pop section, and we were looking around. Had some good ones, and we found some interesting ones, and we found Silver Joker from the Arkham Asylum video game. Really, really cool find in the wild like that. There was a silver one, an orange one, and a green one. And I really, really wanted that green one, but the boxes were just so jacked up on it. Just nasty creases, bends, corners kind of dinged, and things like that. And they just completely manhandled the green ones, which is always kind of crappy for me to see. I hate seeing that. My girlfriend took the orange one because that's her favorite color, and I took the silver one because I prefer silver, or I do like silver, but I was really after that green one. But I'm not upset about it. I'm gonna just keep looking around, see if I can find one. And that pretty much does it. For that one. For this first video after maybe 2 months. So right now, I'm just gonna put these away in plastic and some new sleeves and boards. Get them out of the dusty ones and put them in some nice fresh ones for their new home. Hopefully I'll be able to start getting inventory ready because everything's just all over the place. Get some stuff situated, get it all in order because it's grossly overdue. But yeah, those are my You know, this is my hobby. This is what I love to do, and um, potentially I'll have some more news later on, some rather interesting news. I just got to see how it all works out. And the next couple of videos are going to be for the more recent stuff that I got, the newer books, um, to at least, you know, catch up on those and give anybody any ideas or hints about anything they might have missed or were interested in, whether or not they can find it, any reviews, anything like that. Which I should do some more review ones, actually. It's a good idea. Um, so yeah, that pretty much ends the local and uh, West Coast odyssey of new stuff to have gotten, new stuff that we got. Um, so until next time, keep those eyes open, keep collecting, and my next video will hopefully be as interesting. I'm still waiting for the big thing that I was looking to do, um, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon, in the next few months before Christmas time, and if not by Christmas time. So hopefully I'll have it ready by then. So until then, I'll see you next time.